In this video, I'm going to talk about the 7 steps that you need to know when buying a home in Chicago, and I'm going to talk about why you should start those steps early so they don't hurt you down the road. Let's get to it. On this channel, I talk all about buying and selling real estate in and around the Chicagoland area. I cover neighborhood tours, what it's really like living here in Chicago, and all sorts of other real estate related information. So you know what to do. If that's the kind of information that you're looking for, just click that subscribe button down below and the bell icon to make sure you get notified whenever a new video is released. If at any point you have questions about the real estate market here in Chicago, just drop a comment down below or reach out to me directly. I answer all my comments personally and love hearing from people at any stage of the home buying process. It's never too early. So the first step is to start your research early. And that usually means just first laying out your priorities, laying out what you care about. Is it the schools? Is it a commute time? Is it close to family or friends? Is it maybe area amenities? You know, for example, maybe you like the water. You've got a boat or you got a jet ski. You want to be close to the body of water. Or maybe you have horses, or you want to own horses, or you want a lot of land. You know, there's specific areas around Chicago that are good for both of those. So just consider your priorities as the first stage of the research process. So determine how much house you can afford, and then how much house you want to afford. And those two things are sometimes very different. Maybe you can afford a lot more than you're really comfortable with. So a lot of times this deals with your own personal budget. And so don't worry too much about what kind of house this is going to translate into at this time. Just think about your personal budget, how much you're comfortable with, and then kind of figure out how much house you want to be able to spend monthly on. Then do some online research and find your preferred area. A lot of times that'll come from your priorities, whether you want to be close to family or whatnot, but find that area. Then start to flesh out your criteria. And a lot of times this starts with your must-haves, kind of your deal breakers. The things like, how many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you want? Do you need a basement? Do you want a garage? How many cars do you want to park in the garage? Maybe you want a large backyard for the kids or a dog to play. Maybe you want it to be fenced. So once you get those out of the way, then start thinking about the things you'd love to have. You know, the things that, you know, maybe it's a finished basement, or maybe it's a screened-in porch, or maybe it's a beautiful master bedroom or a bathroom, or you know, beautiful new kitchen or whatever. Start thinking about those things. So the second step is to start finding the people that are going to help you with this process and start building your team. So most people start thinking about getting the money squared away first. And so then they think about maybe getting a mortgage and talking to a mortgage person. And while that can be a good idea, because the mortgage person can turn you on to different loan programs or to give you ideas that you may not have thought about, I would say this almost starts with the real estate agent first, because the real estate agent can find a good mortgage person for you, somebody who's trusted and recommended. They can turn you on to attorneys or inspectors or all of that. So I think your real estate agent is going to be the one that's going to be sort of your hub and your first point of contact. So I would say start with the real estate agent first, and then move on to the mortgage company and everybody else. Now here in Illinois, we are an attorney state, so you definitely want an attorney when it comes to your real estate transaction. You can find that yourself, but there's probably a pretty good chance that the real estate agent that you're going to work with has somebody in mind that they've already worked with many, many times and have really come to trust them. So definitely, again, you want to start with the real estate agent, and then they can direct you accordingly. Step number 3 is to figure out the money. Now, if you're paying with cash, this is going to go a lot quicker, but you're still not off the hook. Just like with somebody who's getting a mortgage, is going to need a pre-approval letter. If you're paying with cash, you're going to need something that's called a proof of funds letter. And that's really only either a statement from the account that you have all your money on deposit with, showing the balance that you can afford the house, or it's a letter from a banker stating that you have enough money to cover a purchase on deposit with their bank. However, if you're like most people, you're probably going to get a mortgage. You're going to need some help to buy the house. And so this can get a little bit more complicated. It's not anything scary, but there's a lot more steps involved. Now, most people have heard about the pre-approval letter, and you think, okay, I'm going to get a pre-approval letter. That's most important. I got to get pre-approved. Well, I would say tap the brakes on that, and I would say it's more important to pick a good lender first and choose your lender really carefully. So as I was preparing this video, I realized how much more there is to talk about on this very topic and how to choose a good lender. You know, whether you're going to go with a mortgage company or you're going to go with maybe your local bank. So I realized that this could be a whole other video itself. So if you want to see a video all about how to choose the right lender, mortgage company, bank, whatever, just drop a comment below. But the bottom line is that if you do need a mortgage, you're going to have to come up with a bunch of paperwork, your past W-2s, your recent pay stubs, any asset information. They're going to want to check your credit, and so there's a little bit more hoops to jump through whenever, as you're going to need a mortgage. So it's just definitely something to consider. So you definitely want to start this process soon too. But before we leave this step, I do want to say one thing. It's probably the most important thing is when you're home searching, do not buy anything big. Don't buy a car. Don't buy a bunch of furniture to put in that beautiful new home that you just bought. Don't book a vacation. Don't do anything that's going to draw anybody's attention to your finances. You want to keep your finances as boring as possible while you're going through the home purchase process. Oh, and before I forget, I've got the Chicago relocation guide that's really informative for anybody who's looking to move into the city. If you want a copy of that, just drop a comment below and I'll make sure you get that. So the fourth step, and this is the fun one, this is the one where you actually go out and look at homes. So this is the one that everybody wants to jump to. They want to skip over finding the mortgage, they want to skip over the agent, they want to skip over kind of everything, because those are all kind of boring, right? And they want to go right out and look at homes. That's the most fun part of it. So throughout this process, you're going to work with your agent to fine-tune your search criteria. Now, the more houses you look at, the more you're going to narrow that search criteria, and the more you're going to learn about the houses that you're looking at, but you're also going to learn about yourself, and you're going to learn about what you want, what you don't want, maybe something you thought you really wanted, you see in person, you can learn you can live without. Or maybe you'll find something that you never even thought was a thing, or you didn't realize would be so cool, like maybe a screened-in porch or a walkout basement or something, and that'll make its way onto your must-have criteria. So the more you look at homes, the more narrow your criteria should be, and the more it will evolve. Now, at some point, you're going to find the one. You're going to find the house that you fall in love with and that you want to buy. So you're going to work with your agent to write the offer and then negotiate that offer. Now, there's so many parts to the offer that I'm not going to get into how to write the offer. I have a whole other video on that, actually. But you can work with your agent. Most agents will be able to help you navigate what's important, what isn't, and how to craft it so that it's going to be the best and most representative offer for you, especially to buy the specific house that you want. Now, as I record this video, it's fall 2021, and we're still in a crazy seller's market. Now, for the foreseeable future, you're probably going to have to write a couple of offers before you actually get the house that you really want. So step number 5 is the inspections and all the testing. So you finally found the house that you love, and you've bought it, you put yourself into escrow with it. So now you actually got to figure out if the house has anything wrong with it, and that's going to be done through the home inspection. You do not want to skip that. Occasionally I see people who want to skip it, or who want to bring in Uncle Joe, who's maybe, does some handyman work, and he can look at the house. I suppose depending upon how good Uncle Joe is, you may or may not want to hire a certified home inspector. I always recommend to all my clients, you want to hire a certified home inspector who can come in here and really turn the house upside down. Super important. Going to check the furnace, going to check the windows, just really going to check everything, all the electrical, going to check everything to make sure that that the house has, that the house is good, or see if there's any material defects that are present. Now, during this time, you're also going to want to test for radon. Now, if you've never heard of radon, you can go Google it and you can learn all about it. But bottom line is that depending upon the kind of house you want to buy, radon can be a real threat to your health over time. Any single family house with or without a basement, on a slab or not, any townhouse, any house that is below a third floor. So if you're going to buy a third floor condo, you do not need to test for radon. But otherwise, I highly recommend you test for radon, regardless of the kind of house that you're going to buy. Of course, at this stage, you can also test for mold or termites or whatever else you might be interested in as well. So step number 6 is the inspection negotiations, the attorney review of the documents, loan processing, document preparation, all the stuff that typically happens behind the scenes after you've chosen a house and after you've done your inspection. Most of this process will be done by the attorney, especially here in Illinois. The attorney is going to spearhead most of this, so your first point of contact for almost everything in this stage is going to be through your attorney. At this point, your attorney is going to help you negotiate from the inspection report and anything that may have come up during the inspection. They're going to start preparing title documents for you for your closing and all the related closing documents. your loan officer and your mortgage company is going to be processing your loan through underwriting. This is when the appraisal happens, and this is when actually their underwriting looks at your file to make sure that the pre-approval is still good based upon your credit and everything else. They're going to do some final checks. And then at some point, everything is going to prepare and move down the line for your closing day. It is super important that as a buyer, you stay responsive during this stage. Your attorney's going to have questions for you. Your loan officer is going to have questions for you. Going to need to update documents. Or going to need your signature on various things. And so don't go on vacation. Don't travel across the country. Don't disappear for a week, because it'll only serve to hold up your closing. So you definitely want to stay responsive, whether through phone, email, or text, whatever situation you got going on, but definitely don't disappear. So before I get to the last step, if you like this video, you should check out this one right here. It's all about how to write an offer, about how to craft it, all the different parts and pieces of an offer. I talked a little bit about that previously in this video, so check it out right here. So the last step number 7, is to close the sale and close the deal. So it's the big day, right? You're super excited. You're probably half excited, half nervous, half scared. So again, on this day, it's all the same thing that it's been for the past few weeks. Your attorney is the main point of contact. They are going to be there present with you, talk you through any and all documents, whether it's title documents or mortgage documents if you have one. You're going to want to bring a cashier's check. They're going to tell you how much. You're also going to want to bring a photo ID and be ready to sign and sign and sign and sign. And now, before you click away, if you like this video and you got something out of it, please give it a thumbs up. Just click the little thumbs up button somewhere down here. It would help me out, help this video out a lot. Now, there are tons of other videos down in the description below. So talking all about buying and selling advice and all sorts of other resources to help you on your journey. Now, if you have any questions or if there's anything I can do to help you, please reach out to me directly. I'd love to help however I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.